Hello, this is Bridge of Stars number 28. So I'm going to start by telling you that number 30 will be the last one. That seems like a nice number to close with. And the reason for this is not because I don't want to be supportive anymore, but because I think we're coming to the end of one phase, and perhaps for the next phase we could take a slightly different perspective. So I've got some things in my mind that I'm working on, and shortly after Bridge of Stars 30 I will be announcing a new series with a slightly different angle. And that angle is to do with, well, what next? So what I've been observing very, very recently, just the last few days, is that as a sense of lockdown starts to be lifted in various places, certainly here in Britain, that people's behaviour starts to change. And having been through a process where everyone was, or most people, were extraordinarily supportive towards each other, loving and caring, and expressing the care and compassion for others in a way that isn't normally expressed, quite out of the blue almost. Certainly here in England, particularly England, because of the issue of returning to school, some quite unpleasant behaviour has started to reveal itself on social media, where young mothers are criticising each other, or more than criticising, being quite unpleasant to each other, when some mothers decide, yes, they will send the children back to school, and some decide that they won't. So not to go into all the ramifications for what reasons some women might go for it and some women would hold back, there has been a lift in the social media relationships between young mothers who were in groups, social media groups, where they felt supported, and then all of a sudden there's something difficult is happening. And that made me consider that we may see this as a kind of pattern, that when something difficult brings a group of people together and they have to focus on getting through that, once the tension is lifted a little bit or a lot, they may then start squabbling amongst each other. I was thinking perhaps an example might be the captivity of Nelson Mandela, and the focus for all those years, nearly 3 decades, I think it was 27 years, that he was in captivity. His party political group, the ANC, was glued together, in a sense, with the figurehead of Mandela being in prison, and they were all on it. This was their thing. Once he was released, then internal squabbles and bad feelings started to happen in the ANC. And, won't go into it, but we can see that happening. And sometimes, even really old stories, with the Exodus and so forth, you see that people start to squabble among themselves, or they misbehave, even when Moses has done all that work getting the commandments for them, the Israelites start arguing among themselves and thinking it might be better to go back to the old gods. So this may be a pattern that we have to go through, or that we tend to go through, unless we kind of observe ourselves really carefully. And as you probably know from watching my videos, I'm an eternal optimist, you might say. Some people might say too optimistic, may be naive. But I do have a deep-seated conviction and a deep-seated belief in the basic goodness and capacity for compassion of the human race, the milk of human kindness. Now, I've had to wrestle with some of that. It was when I was about 14 that I first came across books about Hiroshima, the bombing of all those people with the first atomic weapons, and also a book about the Nuremberg trials. I was 14 when I discovered those, and that was when I first really remember understanding that there is a difficult side to the human condition, a really difficult side. However, I turned to Buddhism and I turned to various mystical traditions, and I began to see, well, that is a pattern, that is something that we have to wrestle with, but fundamentally it's experiencing the shadows that we cast into the world. So whenever we fall out with somebody, we look at that and say, well, what's the mirror here? What is that saying about me? Anything that is unpleasant or shadowy or dark, sinful or evil, I do not like those two words at all. Basically, they are to do with ignorance. And the ignorance is to do with how the human being from the inside creates what happens on the outside. So that's what all my work is about. It's about trying to get to understand the flow of energy in the world, in ourselves, and to relate to it in this harmonious way. So that's why I teach Shefa. The Shefa is the living light. It is the intense underlying life force, if you like, the élan vital, as Henri Bergson called it. And you can call that God, you can call it divine, whatever you want to call it. It is obviously present. It seems like that's obvious to me because, you know, we're here and this has got life force in it. Every cell of my body has got this Shefa in it. And it illuminates us and allows us to see that whatever we cast as a shadow on the wall of the cave, like Plato's cave, the prisoners are casting shadows on the wall, and they believe in the shadows. They believe that that's some kind of true reality, and they're not aware that they themselves are casting the shadows, so that the drama and the play that is going on is something that is a co-creation. So when I teach the Shefa Method, my great desire and my intention and my motivation is to help people get that, to help people understand that. Because of my mystical experiences, I feel privileged to have kind of seen that and been there and kind of understood it at literally at a cellular level. And any academic or scholarly work I've done on top of that is actually to try to find language that can help me. First of all, it was language for me so I could understand my own experiences, but also language that I could share with other people to help them see and experience the world in this new way. Well, I call it a new way, but actually it's been going on for quite a few generations. But it might be new for the individual to suddenly see that what is presented to us as reality and the way reality works, especially in the modern world, in the scientific materialist paradigm, is actually a reversal. It's actually a mismatch for what is truly going on at a deep level. So that's why I teach the Shefa Method. And of course, another branch of this Shefa Method, related to the Shefa Method, is Shefa Healing, which I've been teaching since 2006. And I do encourage people, if they would like to learn the Shefa Method, to consider whether they want to learn Shefa Healing as an addition after that. So let me share with you today a Shefa character, not an angel script character. Okay, so this is Shin, deep peace. And it's one of the most profoundly sacred sounds. Shh. that we find in primordial ancient languages. You'll find sh in Sanskrit, and you'll find it in Hebrew. And in Hebrew, the sh sound is one of the three mother letters, one of the three basic building blocks of creation. And sh is also the white noise left behind by the Big Bang, according to the physicists. So it's an underlying sound to the whole of creation. We don't hear it with our ordinary ears, but according to the physicists, it is there, and it was picked up by the telescopes, and that's how they discovered it. So that's an interesting mystical fact, that scientific fact that echoes what the mystics say. Shh. And in Hebrew, shin is almost the most sacred of the three mother letters. It begins the word Shema, which is the famous prayer, Jewish prayer. Shema means listen, hear. And then it goes on to tell you what you've got to listen to. And the three prongs of the letter that we see here are almost identical to the three prongs in the original Hebrew letter. And I'm not very good at this, but the high priest, when he gives the blessing, he holds his hand up in the three prongs like that. And that symbolises giving the blessing, basically. And to me, those three prongs represent the trinity of power, love, and wisdom. And when those three work as a beautiful triangle of energy, of the basic energy of creation, power to make things happen, wisdom to unfold how the things happen, love and compassion to nurture what is happening, and to give love, understanding, unconditional tenderness. And the result of those would be a harmonious and beautiful life. So that is deep peace. Take it into your head, visualize it, and if you want to learn more about how to work with some of these characters, well, actually, online you can learn how to work with all of the characters. In the Shefa Method, you start working with just 4 of them, including deep peace, and then with Shefa Expansion, you go on to collect the rest of the set, which will take you up to 22 characters in all. And through those 2 courses, I help you understand how you can work at a deep, deep, deep interior level with these characters, which carry these profound messages, these profound concepts. So the shape of them is the message carrier, if you like. So there we are. As I say, I'm running towards the last 2 of these episodes, so I hope this particular one has been especially enlightening for you, and I'll see what's on the table for the next session, which will be the day after tomorrow. However, before I go, I do have to read from the Bridge of Stars. Okay, so in the light of the things that I was saying at the beginning about sort of continuing to be kind to our neighbours, really, here's a prayer from Catherine of Siena. She does, of course, use the word God in it. I personally don't mind using the word God because I didn't have a bad deal with it when I was young. But if you prefer to use divine or divine source, is what I often use in my teaching. So this is called love of others. Eternal goodness, you want me to gaze into you and see that you love me. You love me freely, and you want me to love and serve my neighbours with the same love, offering them my prayers and my possessions as far as in me lies. Dear God, come to my assistance. So Catherine is acknowledging that loving your neighbours is a challenge sometimes, and she's asking for divine support, divine love to express itself through her and towards her neighbours. Many thanks for being with me, for following my series, and I will be back with another couple of Bridge of Stars before we change to a new series in a week or so's time. Many blessings. Oh, and stay joyful. Stay joyful.